Hello YouTube, my name is Ashir. Let's go over the new games that you can start the game with. I would like you to notice that I am playing on the beta branch right now, version 6.0. The difference between beta and 5.1, the normal version of the game, is that the beta 6.0 comes with some nice enhancements and quality of life options. Also, it increased my FPS while playing. So, yeah, there's some good little enhancements in the 6.0. I would definitely recommend it. As for the starts of the new game, when you're brand new, you don't know anything about this game, never tried it before, just looked at it or only watched on YouTube, the flight school will be the best start for you. It is not a full simulation of the galaxy. So, yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, flight school, perfect start. It'll go over all the basics you need to know how in order to fly around, and really that's mostly what it does. Also, pay special attention to the hotkeys when you are uh, going through that tutorial, and you can change those hotkeys at any time by going into the options and going into controls and rebinding those keys. I would recommend rebinding some of the keys to your personal preferences. If you only have a keyboard and mouse like I do, I would recommend looking at my keyboard and mouse guide. I go over which hotkeys I use to fly around with, and they work pretty well. I never have to take my hand off my mouse while I'm flying. Uh, then once you finish the flight school, the combat scenario is an excellent start, and a little bit of a hard start to get into some of the combat, learn the ins and outs of it. Great little scenario right there. If you get a game over screen during the combat scenario, which more than likely will happen, don't let that worry you. It's also not a full simulation of the galaxy, so it's not the actual game anyway. So if you get a game over, try again, or just move on to the next thing. The advanced gameplay is one that I definitely wouldn't recommend right at the start. You can, if of course, if you want to, jump right in and just learn about some of the advanced gameplay. I would recommend getting into the advanced gameplay and looking at that once you're curious about how to start mining with mining ships, automatic or have NPCs do it, not you do it personally. Once you're ready to start building stations, once you get to that stage of the game where you're starting to get more ships and you want to know how to give them orders and what to do, the advanced gameplay should have you covered for the most part, and if not, the comment section on the YouTube channel here should help you out as well if you need some advice. And then the Discord, I'll have that link down below as well if you need some more help and would like more real-time help with any questions you have about the game. Discord's a great place for that. So the new games that you can choose if you have all the DLCs up to this point. What is the best start of all the new games with all the DLCs? None of them. None of them are the best start. There are just variations and options on each one of them, and I'll quickly go over each of the highlights and let you choose which one you like. So the emergent start is for Kingdom's End. You get a couple choices of race that you would like to start
The
out
connection
as,
that binds
Talati,
us as an
Paranid, or
interstellar
Argon.
community is fragile.
So if you like the way the Argon look, they look like pilots wearing flight suit jacket or wearing jackets that look like a pilot would wear in real life. If you like the look of the Paranid or the Talati, also a way to pick a Talati. One of the other ways, I believe the only other way to play a Talati is the Unworthy Entrepreneur start. The Queen's Herald start. This is a start that you will unlock as you do the Kingdom's End storyline. So you need to progress pretty far into the Queen's Herald storyline, or not the Queen, the Emergence storyline or the Kingdom's End storyline. You can just run into the Kingdom's End storyline, even from your saved game that you have. If you buy the DLC and have a saved game you want to keep playing, that's perfectly fine. You can still get into the Kingdom's End content and play it. So don't let that stop you from continuing your saved game. The other notable thing about the Queen's Herald start, you start out with a medium combat ship, and you can play as one of the Boron, and
With a
have the game
successful
recognize you as the Boron. So that comes with a whole bunch of unique voice lines and dialogue. So if you're looking for a new spin on your galaxy and how you want to play the game, playing as a Boron might lead to some fun moments, unique dialogue that you haven't heard before, and a whole lot of fun. Definitely worth a try. If you're into more guided starts, you need a little more hand holding to get you going, that's okay. The Tides of Avarice has you covered. The Stranded start is the most hand holdy out of every start. It's
Have
also
I
one of
ever
the best
told you
starts
about the time?
if you want a little more guided start, you need a little more help to kind of understand what to do. The Stranded start is an excellent start, one of the best. The Smuggler's Paradise is not very handholdy at the start. You get told to dock basically, and then that's about it. So Smuggler's Paradise is just another way to start the game. If you like the Tides of Avarice humans, the way they look a little more piratey, a little more ready to get into a bar fight and win. Yeah, these two starts are the way to go if you like the way the Argons, the humans, look in that start. The Cradle of Humanity, Terran Cadet is a hot start. And what I mean by hot start is that's a combat start. So that will throw you into combat pretty much from the get-go. Or, well, maybe not from the get-go. You might have to do a little bit of questing to get that started, but that should throw you right into, that does throw you into combat pretty early on to the game. So if you want a more difficult start, but not too hard, Terran Cadet, perfect way to start the game. And that start obviously starts over in Terran space. So if you're looking for a way to start out in Terran space, there you go. Project Genesis is another start that does start out in uh, Terran space, but do take note that if you follow the main storyline of this start, it will take you over to the center of the galaxy at a certain point in the story. And if you want the origins of the Player HQ station, the Project Genesis start has you covered. If you want to know the origins of where that station came from. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. Let's just keep going. But this start, you can just immediately start out in a sandbox and start your game from there and uh, build up a little bit, or just keep following the main story and eventually just get thrown into the center of the galaxy without any clue of what to do. Any way you do it, any way you want. The Fires of Defeat is another hot start. This one is much more difficult than the Terran Cadet start. It's a combat start, and you start out in a spacesuit and have to be rescued from outer space first at the start, and then your life gets difficult from there. There is a fun achievement tied to this one, so definitely a great start for a returning player or somebody who knows what they're doing and wants something different. Fires of Defeat, definitely a great start. The Spear of the Patriarch is a sandbox start, so you just start out in the galaxy over in split space, and then run the sandbox however you like. And then the base game starts, the foundation starts. The Young Gun is a start out with nothing start, no direction, no purpose, just straight up sandbox. Go where you want to. You will run into all the quest lines in the Young Gun start, so don't worry about missing content. You'll eventually stumble across all the things. The Unworthy Entrepreneur is a Talati start. You actually do start off with a station. It comes with a large dock for large ships, or a large pier, I should say, or yeah, pier for large ships. There you go. And then it also comes with a dock for small and medium ships. And the reason starting out with the station would be convenient is you don't have to build the docks, a container, and it comes with a added bonus of having a production module on it, which will need some imports to get started. And then once it starts producing, it will provide you with a very small amount of passive income. The reason starting out with a station like this would be really convenient is because you can put a solar panel on this. You do start out the game knowing a solar panel blueprint. So once you get a solar panel on a station, it starts producing energy cells. Energy cells don't take any other input besides sunlight to make energy cells. So as soon as you got a solar panel on there, you can start selling all those energy cells right away and have a fairly decent way to start making money right at the beginning of the game and to generate some passive income. It won't be the greatest passive income, but the more solar panels you slap on that station, say anywhere between 1 to start out with, 2 to have some nice passive income, 4 or more to have even better passive income. So yeah, those are a little expensive to build at the start, but it also comes with a medium-sized transport and a Kestrel Scout. So the medium-sized transport, you can actually just turn around and sell to get some starting money in order to build solar panels if that's the direction you want to go, or you just want extra money. There you go. That would be the richest start. That'll be the richest you'll be if you turn around and sell that medium ship right at the start. It's not a game-breaking amount of money, so don't get too excited. It's actually not even that much money in the grand scheme of things, so do with that what you will. The dedicated warrior start is a start with nothing start, just like the young gun, except for you're a parented. And you start out with a Perseus fighter, which is a little bit better than the elite fighter in that scenario. A little bit better. Not a lot better, just a little bit. So, yeah, just to start with nothing start, you start as a parented instead of a human. The Unworthy Entrepreneur starts as a Talati. I don't know if I said that or not. The Untested Explorer starts out in a Discovery Vanguard, or a Discovery
The jump gate
ship.
shutdown is
I
now
believe a
defined as
Vanguard.
the single most important event in the history of
And
the
this is
network.
also a start with nothing start. Of the Foundation's starts, the Untested Explorer Discovery Vanguard will be the best ship to start
The
a
jump gate
pirate
shutdown.
run with because of how the bail mechanics work. So I won't go over the bail mechanics in this video. I've already explained it in another how to start video. But the Discovery Vanguard, one of the best ships to start out being a pirate in. Untested Explorer. Great start. And a fairly good ship for pirates if you want to be a pirate. The Accomplished Scientist. On paper, it starts out with the most money, but
Yes.
250,000 is not very much money after you can easily spend all that money just trying to upgrade the engines on your starting ship. And your bank account will go to zero, so maybe don't do that with your money. But yeah, that's not a lot of money, and it's the only other notable thing about this start is it starts out with the Nodin, which is a more unique ship. You can purchase more of these ships from one and only one station, or wharf, I shall say. But you have to go out of your way to find it to buy more of the Nodin class ship. So, yeah, if you want a unique ship right at the start, there you go. The Accomplished Scientist, and let's see here. The Accomplished Scientist, the Emergent Start, and Project Genesis, if you follow the main storyline, all start off with the player HQ, uh, basically right from the get-go. Let's see here. The Accomplished Scientist and Emergence will have a dock already built, so you can dock at the station. However, none of the research in any of these starts, none of the research at the research station will be started, completed, or anything. So don't get your hopes up for having research done at the start. You still have to go through the whole research tree. And the last and final thing I want to note about all of these starts is you do start out with a small ship with all of these starts, save for the Queen's Herald, but also the race you start out as. So I already mentioned that you can start out with a few different races in this start.
That binds us as an
The most notable will be the Queen's Herald start, where you get to play as a Boron, and then have the galaxy recognize you as a Boron, so unique voice lines. Cool, cool, cool. The Tides of Avarice start. You start out with a piratey looking character, male or female, your choice. The Terran Cadet start. You start out as a Terran, male or female, in these respective starts. You don't get to choose. You can just choose between the starts. The Terran humans have a unique look to them as well, unique clothing. So, yep. And then the Fires of Defeat, the split starts. You start out obviously as a split, male or female, depending on which start you choose. And then I believe, yeah, you start out as male here, a Teladi here, parented there, Argon again, so human, and then Argon again, human. One of the more notable thing to know about the starts that won't be immediately what you won't immediately know at the start is that with the Project Genesis start in particular, you will get a location to a black market station. So the availability of a black market. Black markets are notoriously hard for me so far to find, and maybe they are for you as well. So if you're struggling to find black market stations, maybe you want to start a new game anyway. The Project Genesis start has access to a black market right from the get out, basically. As you go through the main plot line, you will be directed to a black market station. The Tides of Avarice Stranded start will also be guided to a black market station as well. And if you don't want to start on either of those starts, you can still play through the storyline of the Arcadian Endeavor. With the Empyrean Curse, you can still go through that plot line, still get directed to at least one black market station. So if you don't want to start a new game and you haven't done the Empyrean Curse plotline, you're looking around for a black market, you want an easier way to do that, getting into that plotline will be your way to find a black market station if you don't know how to by other means. And the reason I point that out is black markets can be an excellent source of income if you know what you're doing. Basically, if you can sell the wares that they will buy from you. And yeah, that'll do it for the starts. The only other special start I would go over is the budgeted start here. This is kind of a track your progress throughout the game start, but you only get this option if you run a unmodified game. So if it doesn't say the words in orange up here, modified, you will get this start unlocked and available. You won't have any progress done in here right from the get-go if you're just starting brand new. But if you already have a save that's unmodified and you want to start again, but you don't want to choose any of those starts mentioned in that list, this is a great start because you can tailor it to exactly what you want. So for instance, if you want to get into... If you want to start with the headquarters, and then you want to have all of the research done that you have done in your saved game. For instance, I don't have that one done yet. But if you want to skip past all the research stuff, you can set your researches that you have done already in your saved game. And the way you know that you have done this research and it will let you start with it or not is if you choose a research that you haven't done, you'll notice that over on the left-hand side, it'll turn orange. It will not let you start the game with the research you haven't done previously in an unmodified save. So, yeah. That'll be a nice get around to get back to where you were in your save, but you want to start over. Say your galaxy got overrun, or something happened that you didn't like. So, yeah. That'll be a great start for those people who want to do that. I wouldn't recommend the creative start because all of these other starts have some unique voice lines and are excellent. And you don't have to fumble around with this menu and try to understand it right from the get-go. So there you go. And then the station design simulator, that's just for designing stations and building stations and saving those stations for when you want to build stations later in your universe. Anyway, that's all of the starts. They all more or less start off on equal footing, save for the Queen's Herald, but you have to unlock that one. And they all basically start around the same amount of cash, which is almost none. So I hope that was helpful. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you were confused about anything and need some help, leave a comment down below and ask a question. Or go into the Discord, join the Discord and start asking questions about what you need help with there. I will leave a link down below. And yep, if you liked this video, please don't forget to subscribe on the way out. Thank you very much. Bye.